Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the amazing world of rare and valuable coins that could be hiding right in your pocket. If you love collecting coins, learning about history, or simply enjoy discovering treasures that most people overlook, then you're going to love today's video. How much they're worth in today's market, and what you need to know to sell them successfully at auction. So let's get started. First up, the 1974 USA silver-colored Washington quarter-dollar coin with the D mint mark is an interesting and collectible piece from the modern era of American coinage. Although it has a bright silver-like appearance, this coin is not actually made of silver. By 1974, the U.S. Mint had already stopped producing silver quarters for circulation. Instead, the coin is composed of a copper core layered with a copper-nickel alloy, which gives it its metallic shine. This change, which began in 1965, was made to reduce production costs after the rising value of silver made it too expensive to continue using in everyday coinage. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find the familiar portrait of George Washington designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Above his head is the word Liberty, while to the left is the national motto, "In God We Trust." Beneath the portrait, you'll see the date 1974. The small letter D just beside Washington's ponytail indicates that this particular coin was minted at the Denver Mint. On the reverse side, the design features a majestic bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness to defend the nation, while an olive branch rests below, representing peace. Around the upper rim, the words United States of America and E pluribus unum appear, and along the bottom edge, the denomination quarter dollar is clearly shown. Your coin is described as being in dirty condition with some scratches. This means it has likely circulated for many years, picking up small marks, discoloration, and perhaps light grime from handling and storage. The details of Washington's hair and face, as well as the eagle's feathers, might appear somewhat worn or dull. However, even in this state, the coin retains its historical charm and design integrity. Collectors often appreciate such pieces for the glimpse they offer into everyday American history. Three-body hue. 1974 to D Washington quarter had a very high mintage. Over 353 million coins were struck at the Denver Mint that year. Because of this large quantity and the fact that it contains no silver, the coin is quite common in circulation and not considered rare. In the current auction market, a 1974 D quarter in dirty circulated condition with some scratches generally sells for between 0.2 $25 and $1. For coins with slightly better eye appeal or lighter wear, the value might reach up to $2. These coins are typically worth more for their historical or nostalgic interest than for their metal content or rarity. However, there are exceptions that can raise the value considerably. Some 1974 D quarters have been discovered with striking or minting errors that make them highly collectible. For example, a doubled die obverse, where the letters or design elements appear doubled, can increase a coin's worth significantly. Other error types, such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planche, like a nickel or penny planche, are also possible. These rare varieties can sell for anywhere from $25 to several $100s, depending on the type and clarity of the error. It's worth taking a close look at your coin under a magnifying glass to see if you spot anything unusual that might set it apart. For collectors and sellers, coin grading plays a major role in determining market value. A coin graded as fine or very fine still shows visible design details, but with moderate wear. Extremely fine coins have more defined features, and uncirculated or mint-state coins retain their original shine and sharpness. While your 1974 D coin in dirty condition won't reach the higher grades, it's still a legitimate collectible. Coins graded mint state 65 or higher have been known to sell for $100 to $300, and the highest graded examples, MS-67 or MS-68, certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC, can occasionally bring over $100 at auction. If you're considering selling your 1974D, Washington Quarter, presentation matters. Gently clean off loose dirt, using only a soft, dry cloth. Avoid any harsh cleaning methods that might scratch or damage the surface further. When photographing your coin for listing on online marketplaces like eBay or specialized auction sites such as heritage auctions or great collections, use good lighting and capture both the obverse and reverse clearly. Mention the mint mark, condition, and any visible imperfections in your description. Transparency always attracts genuine buyers. First up, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with D mint mark is one of the final coins in the long-running wheat cent series, which was produced from 1909 to 1958. Your coin, minted at the Denver Mint, carries the D mint mark just below the date on the obverse side. It's described as being in very fine condition with some scratches, which means it has visible details with moderate wear, but retains a good amount of the original design and definition. This makes it a collectible example of a mid-century Lincoln cent that saw circulation. During one of America's most prosperous decades, the obverse front of the coin features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has remained on U.S. 1-cent coins for more than a century. Above Lincoln's head reads, "In God We Trust," while to his left appears Liberty, and to his right is the date 1956, followed by the D mint mark, representing the Denver Mint. In very fine condition, the high points of Lincoln's hair, cheekbone, and coat are worn, but most of the details remain clear. The scratches you mentioned are normal signs of age and circulation, adding to its character and authenticity. Turning to the reverse, back, the coin proudly displays the classic wheat ears design, also created by Brenner. Two stylized wheat stalks curve upward along the left and right sides, surrounding the bold inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. The Latin motto, E pluribus unum, arcs across the top. On a coin in very fine condition, the lettering is sharp, and the wheat lines are still partly visible, though lightly worn. This reverse design pays tribute to America's agricultural roots and was later replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. The composition of the 1956 D wheat penny is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the traditional bronze alloy used for most Lincoln cents before 1982. The coin weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. Over time, copper coins naturally darken and develop shades of red, brown, or even a mix of both, depending on storage conditions. The small scratches on your coin are common signs of circulation and age, showing that it was used in everyday transactions during a time when a single penny still had real purchasing power. In 1956, the Denver Mint struck an enormous number of Lincoln wheat pennies, approximately 198,200 coins, making the 1956 D one of the most common issues in the series. This large mintage means the coin is easily found today, particularly in circulated grades. However, collectors still prize examples in higher grades for their historical value and classic design. In today's coin market, the 1956 D Lincoln wheat penny in very fine condition typically has a value of around 0.10 to 0.15 USD. Coins in extremely fine condition can sell for about 0.20 to 0.30, while uncirculated examples, MS-60 to MS-65, can range between 0.75 and 3.6 cents or more, depending on color and luster. Coins graded MS-66 red, RD, or better by professional services like PCGS or NGC can command prices of $10 to $25 or higher. Though the monetary value is modest, the coin's appeal lies in its age, craftsmanship, and connection to mid-20th century American life. There are also some error varieties known for the 1956D penny that can greatly increase its value. One of the most famous is the 1956D doubled die obverse, where the date, lettering, or parts of Lincoln's portrait appear doubled. Other collectible errors include repunched mint marks, RPMs, or die cracks, which are minor but popular among variety collectors. Depending on rarity and condition, these errors can be worth anywhere from $10 to $100 or more. Because your coin is in very fine condition with some scratches, it's best not to clean it. Cleaning can damage the natural patina and lower its value to collectors. Instead, handle the coin by the edges and store it in a protective holder or 2x2 coin flip. Keeping it in a cool, dry place will help preserve its surface and prevent further tarnishing. The 1956D wheat penny marks the end of an era. It was struck just 2 years before the Y. Design changed to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959. This makes it one of the last coins to feature the beloved wheat ears design that had symbolized American agriculture and hard work since 1909. Next up, the 1979 USA silver-colored Washington $quarter coin without a mint mark is an appealing collectible from the late 20th century, even though it isn't made of actual silver. By 1979, the U.S. Mint had long since switched from using 90% silver in quarters to a copper-nickel-clad composition, which began in 1965. This coin's silvery appearance comes from the outer layers of copper and nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The absence of a mint mark indicates that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, as the Philadelphia facility did not use a mint mark on quarters during that time. Your coin is described as being in extra fine condition with some scratches. This means it has light wear only on the highest points of the design, and much of the original detail remains sharp and visible. Washington's hair and facial features are still well defined, and the eagle's feathers on the reverse are mostly intact, though there might be a few flat spots from circulation. The presence of a few minor scratches is normal for a coin that has been handled over time. Even so, an extra fine, XF example of this coin remains visually attractive and desirable for collectors who enjoy assembling high-quality circulated sets of Washington quarters. In terms of production, the 1979 Washington quarter had a large mintage of over 515 million pieces at the Philadelphia Mint. Because of this high number, the coin is relatively common and easy to find. It does not contain silver, so its value in today's auction market mainly depends on its condition, eye appeal, and whether it has any minting errors. A typical 1979 quarter in extra fine condition with some small scratches is generally worth between $0.25 and $1 in the current market. Coins with strong luster, cleaner surfaces, or well-preserved detail might bring slightly higher prices, up to around $20 to $30. That said, collectors always keep an eye out for error varieties or unique characteristics that can dramatically increase a coin's value. Some 1979 quarters have been found with doubled die obverses, off-center strikes, or other striking errors that make them highly collectible. Depending on the type of error and how visible it is, such coins can sell from $25 to several $100s at auction. These rare minting mistakes are what turn ordinary coins into treasures for serious numismatists. It's worth examining your coin carefully under good lighting to see if there are any doubled letters, uneven designs, or rim errors. Grading is another major factor that influences price. An extra fine coin like yours is already above the average circulated level, showing strong details and minimal wear. Coins that have not been circulated at all, referred to as mint state (MS), can be worth more, especially when professionally graded. For example, a 1979 quarter-graded MS-65 by PCGS or NGC might sell for $10 to $25, while the highest graded examples in MS-67 or better can occasionally reach $100 or more in competitive auctions. Proof versions struck at the San Francisco Mint with an S mark are also worth more, especially if they have been well preserved in their original cases. If you ever plan to sell your 1979 quarter, presentation matters. Take clear photos showing both sides of the coin, including its surface condition and details. Make sure to mention that it has no mint mark, confirming that it's from the Philadelphia Mint. Note the scratches and overall grade honestly, as this helps attract genuine buyers. For a coin in this condition, you can list it on platforms like eBay or coin auction sites such as Great Collections or Heritage Auctions. While it may not command a high price, you'll find collectors who appreciate coins in nice circulated grades for album collections. Even though a 1979 quarter without a mint mark in extra fine condition may not be rare or made of silver, it still holds historical and collectible value. It represents a significant period in U.S. coinage when the nation's coin designs remained rooted in tradition while adapting to modern materials. The Washington quarter had already been in circulation for nearly 5 decades by 1979, and its design continued to symbolize leadership, freedom, and national pride. Next up, the 1950 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with S mint mark is a beautiful and historic coin from the San Francisco Mint, part of the long-running Lincoln Wheat Cent series that was first introduced in 1909. Your coin, described as being in good condition with some scratches, is a circulated piece that has seen real use in everyday commerce. Despite its age and wear, it still carries both sentimental and collectible value, representing a period of American strength and post-war optimism. The composition of your 1950 S Lincoln wheat penny is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a bronze alloy that gives it a warm, reddish-brown color. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. Over time, copper reacts with air and moisture, often creating shades of brown, red-brown, or even dark brown patina. Your coin's scratches and color variations tell a story of age and circulation, likely exchanged countless times in stores, diners, or gas stations during the early 1950s, when the U.S. economy was growing rapidly. In 1950, the San Francisco Mint produced about 118,505 wheat pennies, making this issue fairly common today in circulated grades. Although it's not a rare coin, the 1950 S penny is still highly collectible among Lincoln cent enthusiasts, especially when found in higher grades or with special color designations like full red, RD, or red-brown, RB. In today's coin market, the value of a 1950 S Lincoln wheat penny in good condition generally ranges from 0.05 to 0.10 USD. In very fine condition, the value can rise to about $0.20 to $0.25, while extremely fine examples can be worth $0.30 to $0.50. Uncirculated examples with strong luster and minimal marks, graded MS60 from MS65, may range between $1 and $0.75 or more. If the coin has been professionally graded as MS66 Red, RD, its value can increase further, sometimes reaching $10 to $20. Depending on eye appeal, there are also some variety and error types for the 1950 S penny that can make it more valuable. One of the most interesting is the repunched mint mark, RPM variety, where the S mint mark was struck more than once in slightly different positions. These small differences create a doubled or shadowed look under magnification. RPM varieties from 1950 S can be worth anywhere from $5 to $25 or more, depending on condition and the visibility of the repunching. Other rare errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or die cracks, can also boost a coin's market value. Since your coin is in good condition with some scratches, it's best not to clean it. Cleaning a copper coin removes its natural patina and can significantly lower its collector value. Instead, handle the coin gently by its edges to avoid adding more marks and store it in a protective holder, such as a 2x2 cardboard flip or an airtight capsule. Keep it in a cool, dry place away from moisture and humidity, as copper reacts easily to air and can develop further discoloration if not stored properly. The 1950 wheat penny represents a time when the penny truly meant something in daily life. During the early 1950s, a single cent could buy a stick of gum or part of a newspaper. And these coins passed through countless hands in an era marked by post-war prosperity. The rise of the automobile and the early days of television, each surviving coin from this era carries a piece of that history with it. While its current market value is modest, typically around 5 to 10 cents, its historical value is far greater. The coin reminds collectors of the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the nation's 16th president, whose image continues to grace America's smallest denomination. It also stands as a symbol of craftsmanship and stability. A coin that has survived over 70 years of circulation, yet still proudly bears the wheat design that generations of Americans grew up seeing. Next up, the 1986 USA silver-colored Washington quarter-dollar coin with the P Mint mark is a well-known piece from the later years of the traditional Washington quarter series. Although often referred to as a silver quarter because of its shiny appearance, this coin does not actually contain silver. By 1986, the U.S. Mint had long been producing quarters from a copper-nickel-clad composition, which consists of a pure copper core layered between two outer sheets of copper-nickel alloy. This gives the coin a bright silvery color while keeping production affordable for everyday circulation. Your coin is described as being in good condition with some scratches. In numismatic terms, good condition refers to a circulated coin that shows significant signs of wear, though the main details and inscriptions remain visible. On your 1986 quarter, Washington's hair, face, and the eagle's feathers may appear smooth or flat in some areas due to wear. The scratches you mentioned are normal for coins that have spent decades in circulation. Even so, the date, mint mark, and overall design remain recognizable and readable, which still makes it a legitimate collectible piece, especially for those who enjoy assembling year-by-year quarter collections. The 1986 CP Washington quarter had a large mintage. Over 551 million coins were produced at the Philadelphia Mint that year. Because of this high production number and the fact that it contains no silver, the coin is common and easy to find. In today's auction market, a 1986 B quarter in good circulated condition with some scratches typically sells for around 0.25 to $1. If the coin has retained a bit more sharpness or has an attractive natural tone, it might sell for up to $2, but generally, its value remains close to face value. However, there are rare varieties and minting errors from 1986 that can make certain coins more valuable. For example, a small number of 1986 quarters have been discovered with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double die errors, where parts of the lettering or design appear slightly doubled. These minting mistakes are quite collectible. Depending on the severity and visibility of the error, such coins can sell anywhere from $25 to several $100s at specialized coin auctions. It's always worth examining your coin under magnification to check for any unusual features that could increase its value. For coins without special errors, condition plays the biggest role in determining value. Coins graded higher than good, such as very fine, extremely fine, or mint state, can command higher prices. Uncirculated coins that retain their full original shine and sharp details might sell for $5 to $10, while certified mint state examples graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC can occasionally reach $50 to $100, especially if they have excellent luster and minimal contact marks. Proof versions struck at the San Francisco Mint with an I2 S mint mark are also worth more, typically selling for $5 to $15. depending on their condition and whether they are silver proofs or standard clad. Proofs. If you plan to sell your 1986 P. Washington quarter, take clear, close-up photos of both sides of the coin, making sure the mint mark, date, and overall condition are visible. When describing the coin, mention its condition, any scratches, and the fact that it's from the Philadelphia Mint. Be transparent about its wear, as buyers appreciate honest listings. Common circulated quarters like this one are often best sold as part of bulk collections, but they can still attract attention from collectors who need specific dates or mint marks to complete their albums. Even though a 1986 quarter in good condition may not have high monetary value, it still carries a rich piece of history. It represents a time in American coinage when the Washington quarter design was still strong and recognizable before later being replaced by the State Quarters series in 1999. Each coin like yours has likely passed through countless hands, carrying stories and everyday transactions from nearly 4 decades of use. Next up, the 1947 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark is a classic mid-20th century American coin, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark during this time. Your coin, described as being in fine condition with a brown color shade and some scratches, is a well-circulated piece that reflects the post-World War II era when the United States was entering a period of rapid growth and prosperity. Though common in mintage, this coin holds strong historical appeal and represents one of the most recognized and enduring designs in U.S. coinage. The composition of the 1947 Lincoln wheat penny is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the standard bronze alloy used for most Lincoln cents before 1982. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter, with a plain, smooth edge. Because it's made primarily of copper, color variations like red, red-brown, or full brown are common depending on the coin's exposure to air, moisture, and temperature. A fully brown color, like the one on your coin, is typical for circulated examples and gives it a warm, antique feel. In 1947, the Philadelphia Mint struck about 190,555 wheat pennies, making this a common issue overall. Although it's not rare in circulated grades, collectors still value these coins for their age, design, and historical significance. Each one represents a period when the United States was transitioning from wartime production to peacetime prosperity, and when coins like this were essential to everyday transactions, buying groceries, newspapers, or gasoline. In today's market, the value of a 1947 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in fine condition generally ranges from $0 fee 55 to $0.10 USD. In very fine condition, it may bring $0.15 to $0.20, while extremely fine examples can reach about $0.25 to $0.35. Uncirculated specimens with bright original luster, graded MS60, MS65, typically range between $0.75 and $2, or more, depending on color and strike quality. Coins certified as MS66 Red, IRD, by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can sometimes fetch $5 to $10 or higher. Although the value is modest, this coin's historical and collectible significance far outweighs its face value. The 1947 penny is part of the post-war Lincoln wheat cent era, when Americans carried these small copper coins daily as the economy recovered, and families began to experience newfound prosperity. Each surviving coin is a tangible connection to that hopeful period in U.S. history. Collectors also enjoy searching for error varieties from the 1947 series, as these can be worth considerably more. Some examples include doubled die obverse or reverse varieties, where letters or numbers appear doubled due to die misalignment, and die cracks or off-center strikes, which occurred during minting. A genuine 1947 doubled die penny, depending on its visibility and condition, can be worth anywhere from $20 to over $100, making error hunting an exciting aspect of coin collecting. Because your coin is in fine condition with some scratches, it's important not to clean it. Cleaning can remove its natural brown patina and damage the surface, greatly reducing its value to collectors. Instead, handle the coin gently by its edges to avoid adding new marks. Store it in a protective 2x2 holder or airtight capsule, and keep it in a cool, dry place away from humidity or direct sunlight to prevent further tarnishing or corrosion. Next up, the 1965 USA silver-colored Washington quarter-dollar coin without a mint mark is one of the most historically significant coins in modern U.S. coinage, marking a major transition in American numismatic history. Although it appears to be silver, the 1965 quarter is actually not made of silver at all. It was the very first year that the U.S. Mint completely eliminated silver from circulating quarters and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition. This change was made because the price of silver had risen too high, making it more expensive to produce coins with precious metal than their actual face value. The 1965 quarter thus became the first in a long series of modern-clad quarters that continue to this day. Your coin is described as being in fine condition with some scratches. In numismatic grading, fine condition means that the coin has seen noticeable circulation, but still retains most of its major design details. The high points, such as Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, will show visible wear, and there may be some flattening in those areas. The scratches you mention are quite normal for a coin that has been in use for nearly 60 years. The surface may appear a bit dull or slightly discolored, but all major inscriptions and the overall design remain clear and readable. The 1965 quarter is a very common coin because of its enormous mintage. Over 1.8 billion pieces were struck by the U.S. Mint that year. This was done intentionally, as the Mint wanted to replace older silver quarters in circulation and prevent people from hoarding coins for their silver content. Because of this huge production run, most 1965 quarters are not rare and are easy to find even today. In today's auction market, a 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark in fine condition with some scratches typically sells for around $0.5 to $1. Coins that are in slightly higher grades, like very fine or extremely fine, might bring between $1 and $2, while those in uncirculated or mint state condition can sell for $5 to $15, depending on their luster and eye appeal. However, there are a few rare exceptions that can make a 1965 quarter much more valuable. A small number of 1965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets meant for the previous year's 1964 coins. These silver 1965 quarters are extremely rare and can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition. You can tell if a coin might be one of these rare errors by checking its weight. Normal 1965 copper-nickel quarters weigh about 5.67 grams, while the rare silver planchet error weighs around 6.25 grams. If you have access to a precise digital scale and your coin weighs closer to 6.25 grams, you may have something truly special. Another clue can be the edge of the coin. A standard-clad coin shows a visible copper-colored strip around the rim, while a silver one will appear solid and uniform in color. Besides silver planchet errors, collectors also look for doubled die varieties or off-center strikes, which can significantly increase the coin's value. Depending on the type and visibility of the error, such coins can sell for anywhere between $50 and several $100s in auction settings. For coins in typical fine condition, grading remains a key factor in determining value. While your 1965 quarter with some scratches is modest in value, It still holds an important place in U.S. coin history as the beginning of the modern clad era. Coins in mint state, MS-65 or higher, that have been certified by grading companies such as PCGS or NGC can reach $50 or more, especially if they have bright luster and minimal marks. Next up, the 1945 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with S Mint mark is a well-known and collectible coin from the San Francisco Mint, struck during the final months of World War II. Woe 2. Your coin, described as being in good condition with some scratches, is a genuine bronze piece that carries both historical and sentimental value. Even though it may show signs of wear, this coin remains a meaningful relic of a significant time in American history. The composition of the 1945 S. Lincoln wheat penny is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a reddish-brown tone when new, though most circulated examples have aged to a medium or dark brown shade. The coin weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19 millimeters in diameter, and has a smooth edge. The brown tone on your coin is a natural result of copper oxidation over the decades, a sign of authenticity and age rather than damage. The scratches and marks add character, showing that the coin was part of everyday life during one of the most pivotal years in world history. The San Francisco Mint produced approximately $181,170,000 wheat pennies in 1945, making this issue relatively common today, especially in lower grades like good or fine condition. Despite its availability, collectors value the 1945 S penny for its connection to the end of World War II, a period that reshaped the world and ushered in a new era of peace and prosperity. Every coin from that year serves as a small historical keepsake of the wartime generation. In today's coin market, the 1945 S wheat penny in good condition is generally worth around 0.05 to 0.10 USD. In very fine condition, the value may rise to about 0.15 to 0.25, while extremely fine examples can sell for $0.30 to $0.50. Uncirculated coins with bright, original luster, graded MS-60, MS-65, may range from 1 euro to 3 euro, and those graded MS-66 red, RD, by professional services such as PCGS or NGC can fetch between $5 and $15 or more, depending on eye appeal and strike quality. There are also a few error and variety coins from the 1945 S mintage that are more valuable. One of the more notable is the repunched mint mark, RPM variety, where the S mint mark appears to have been punched more than once, creating a slight doubling effect. Depending on its clarity and grade, an RPM variety can be worth anywhere from $10 to $30 or more. Other minting errors, such as off-center strikes, lamination cracks, or die breaks, can also add significant value depending on their visibility and rarity. Because your coin is in good condition with scratches, it's best not to clean it. Cleaning a copper coin can remove its natural patina and permanently lower its collectible value. Instead, handle it by the edges to avoid adding new fingerprints or oils from your skin, and store it in a protective coin holder or 2x2 cardboard flip. Keeping it in a cool, dry place will help preserve its color and prevent further oxidation or corrosion. The 1945 S wheat penny is especially meaningful because of its timing. It was minted during the final year of World War II, when American soldiers were returning home, and the nation was beginning to rebuild and move forward. Every penny from that year circulated during an age of hope, sacrifice, and renewal. Holding one today is like holding a small piece of that history, a symbol of America's resilience and unity. Although the monetary value of this coin is modest, its historical and symbolic value is significant. It represents an era when even a single cent held real purchasing power. A penny could buy a handful of candy or a newspaper in the mid-1940s. The coin's design, with Lincoln's image and the wheat ears reverse, reminds collectors of the strength and character that defined America during those years. Next up, the 1981 USA silver-colored Washington quarter-dollar coin with the D Mint mark is a beautiful and historic piece of American coinage. Although it appears silver, it is not actually made of silver. By 1981, the U.S. Mint had been producing quarters from a copper-nickel-clad composition for more than 15 years. Since silver was removed from circulating coins after 1964, the coin's silver-like color comes from its copper-nickel outer layers, which are bonded to a pure copper core. The D Mint mark, found to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the obverse side, indicates that this coin was minted at the Denver Mint. Your coin is described as being in very fine condition with some scratches. In numismatic grading, a very fine coin shows moderate wear on the highest points of the design, but most of the details remain clear and distinct. On your coin, you may notice light flattening on Washington's hair and face, as well as some smoothness on the eagle's wings and feathers. The minor scratches you mentioned are common on coins that have been in circulation, often from contact with other coins over time. Even with these signs of wear, a very fine example still holds solid collectible appeal because the main design elements and lettering remain crisp and readable. The 1981 D Washington quarter had a high mintage, with over 575 million coins struck at the Denver Mint that year. Because of this, the coin is not considered rare and can still be found in circulation today. Since it is composed of copper and nickel rather than silver, its intrinsic metal value is low. In today's auction market, a 1981 D Washington quarter in very fine condition with some scratches typically sells for around $0.25 to $1. Coins that have slightly better eye appeal or less wear might reach $2, while those in uncirculated or mint state grades can sell for $5 to $20, depending on their luster and strike quality. That said, some rare minting errors from the 1981 D series can make a coin far more valuable. Collectors always look for double die errors, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and coins struck on the wrong metal plancher. A double die coin shows slightly overlapping or shadowed lettering or design features, while an off-center strike results in a visibly misaligned image. These minting mistakes are highly sought after, and their values can range anywhere from $25 to several $100s at auction, depending on the type and prominence of the error. It's always worth carefully examining your coin under magnification or showing it to a coin expert if you suspect it might have an unusual feature. While the 1981 Intradinters in our 1981 D quarter in very fine condition is common. Coins in higher grades command better prices. Those graded as extremely fine or about uncirculated retain more detail and can sell for $2 to $5. Mint state coins, which have not been circulated and still show full original mint luster, are even more desirable. A 1981 D Washington quarter graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can fetch $25 to $50. Exceptional specimens in MS-67 or better condition can sometimes exceed $100 in competitive coin auctions. Proof versions of the 1981 quarter, struck at the San Francisco Mint with an S Mint mark, are also valuable, usually selling for $5 to $15, depending on condition and whether they're from a silver or clad proof set. If you plan to sell your coin, presentation and honesty in your listing are key. Take clear, close-up photographs of both sides of the coin, ensuring that the D Mint mark and the year are visible. Mention the coin's condition, noting that it is very fine with some scratches and that it was struck at the Denver Mint. Listed on coin auction platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, or great collections to reach interested collectors. Even though its base value may not be high, collectors who enjoy completing year and mint mark sets often seek coins like yours to fill gaps in their albums. While your 1981D Washington quarter may only bring between 0.25 and $1 in today's auction market, its importance lies in its place within the broader history of U.S. coinage. The Washington Quarter series has been in circulation since 1932, symbolizing the nation's strength, stability, and enduring respect for its first president. Every coin tells a small piece of America's story, and your 1981 quarter is part of that ongoing legacy. Even with a few scratches and moderate wear, your coin carries historical value and charm. It represents an era of American coin production that bridged the gap between traditional designs and the modern minting process. Whether you decide to keep it in your personal collection or sell it, your 1981D Washington quarter remains a genuine piece of U.S. numismatic history, one that has passed through countless hands over more than 4 decades and continues to hold its place as a timeless symbol of American craftsmanship and heritage. Next up, the 1916 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with S mint mark is one of the early and more collectible issues in the long-running Lincoln cent series. Struck at the San Francisco Mint over a century ago, this coin is now more than 100 years old, making it a fascinating historical artifact as well as a favorite among penny collectors. Your coin, described as being in dirty condition with some scratches, still carries genuine historical and numismatic value due to its age, origin, and scarcity compared to later issues. The composition of the 1916 S wheat penny is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a rich red-brown color when new. Over time, most examples have darkened to a brown or deep chocolate tone, especially if stored in less than ideal conditions. Your coin's dirty appearance is common for a coin this old. The dirt and oxidation simply show its long history of circulation. It's important not to clean the coin, as cleaning can strip the natural patina and permanently reduce its collector value. The San Francisco Mint produced only 22,500 and 10,000 Lincoln wheat pennies in 1916, which is a relatively small number compared to other years. Because of this limited mintage and the high level of wear most of these coins experienced, the 1916 S penny is considered scarce, especially in higher grades like extremely fine or uncirculated. Even in lower grades, it remains a sought-after piece for anyone building a complete Lincoln cent collection. In today's coin market, a 1916 S wheat penny in dirty or heavily circulated condition typically holds a value of around 0.75 to $1.50 USD. If the coin is in good to fine condition, with visible date and lettering, the value can rise to about $2 to $5. In very fine condition, where Lincoln's facial details and wheat lines are still somewhat visible, prices generally range from $7 to $12. Coins in extremely fine condition can be worth $15 to $25, while uncirculated mint state examples with original luster and sharp detail can bring between $60 and $150, depending on the color and quality of the strike. The most pristine examples, graded MS65 Red RD, by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can sell for $300 to $400 or more. There are a few varieties and minor errors associated with the 1916 S penny that can increase its value. Some examples show die cracks, lamination errors, or off-center strikes, which collectors find interesting and often pay extra for, depending on the clarity and rarity of the error. However, the 1916 S is not widely known for major doubled die or repunched mint mark varieties. Still, if your coin shows unusual features, it might be worth having it examined by a professional coin dealer or grading service. Because your coin is in dirty condition with some scratches, It's best to handle it gently by the edges and store it properly in a 2x2 cardboard coin flip or a soft plastic holder. Avoid attempting to polish or wash it, as that could reduce both its appearance and collectible value. Over-cleaned early wheat pennies often lose their natural surface tone and are easily spotted by collectors, which significantly lowers demand. The 1916 wheat penny is especially meaningful because it was minted during a significant period in American history. The United States was emerging as a global power, and while World War I was raging in Europe, the U.S. had not yet entered the conflict. Everyday Americans used coins like your penny for simple daily purchases, a loaf of bread, a newspaper, or even a movie ticket. Holding a 1916 penny today is like holding a small, tangible piece of early 20th century American life. Even though the monetary value of your coin is modest in its current condition, its historical and collectible importance is undeniable. Every 1916 penny has survived a full century of circulation, wars, and economic changes. The scratches and dirt simply tell its story, they're marks of time, not flaws. In conclusion, your 1916 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, with mint mark, in dirty condition with some scratches, has a current market value of around $100 to $300 USD. Its exact worth can vary depending on eye appeal and preservation, but as an early San Francisco mint issue, it remains a desirable collectible for Lincoln cent enthusiasts. More importantly, it's a genuine antique coin over 100 years old, representing the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the craftsmanship of America's early 20th century minting history.